Guys, back here with another Monday Night Raw review. I just got finished watching the show because I didn't watch it all last night because obviously the time difference. But I recorded the last hour of it, hour and a bit, and it was actually a really good Raw, in my opinion, going into the Rumble. I think it's the best one they've done so far, just in terms of the new year, and although it's not like one of the best Raws ever or anything like that, it's compared to where we've been with some of the Raws recently, it's a big step up in my opinion. I thought it was just a lot of good matches. There wasn't too much, there wasn't too much talking. There was just a lot more wrestling, and it was a lot more like an older, typical Monday Night Raw, which was pretty good to see. And the storylines were a bit more delved into. Basically, they tried to push stuff a lot more this week. So to begin the show, we had Chris Jericho. We had Roman Reigns come out. Sorry, we had Roman Reigns come out and just talk about how it really is one versus all at the Royal Rumble. How he's going to try and defend, and then he basically says that's on Sunday, but tonight he wants one man and he wants Brock Lesnar. So he calls out Brock Lesnar, and instead of Brock Lesnar, it's Chris Jericho who comes out. Y2J comes out and basically just says he's got like the next best thing with Chris Jericho coming out, which is pretty funny. And then they just have a bit of chatter basically, and Roman Reigns kind of invites himself onto the highlight reel later on in the show because Chris Jericho's guest is Brock Lesnar, and obviously Roman Reigns wants a piece of Brock, so he puts himself on the highlight reel. So then you have the League of Nations come out, and then basically they all start talking really annoyingly. Actually, they're all annoying on the mic, but then Rusev especially, and so Roman Reigns basically challenges Rusev to a match, and Chris Jericho says, does the crowd want it? He basically announces it himself and that he's the referee. So that's the first match of the night that gets underway. Roman Reigns versus Rusev, League of Nations at ringside. So basically there was Roman Reigns dominates for, well, I'd say like midway through the match. At the beginning, Rusev had the upper hand, but then Roman Reigns starts dominating, and basically the League of Nations, obviously with the guys outside the ring, Sheamus, Del Rio, and Barrett, they try and interfere, and then Chris Jericho one by one basically sends them to the back, and so it's just Roman Reigns versus Rusev now, no distractions, but Rusev is standing behind Chris Jericho because Chris Jericho gets rid of Del Rio as the last member, tells him to go to the back. So then Rusev is standing behind Jericho, and it seems like he's gonna attack Jericho when he turns around. And as Jericho turns around, Roman comes in with the Superman punch on Rusev. He gets back up, spear, 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns beats Rusev in the first match. It was actually a really decent match. I think I'm not sure who might have the better in-ring chemistry with Roman Reigns. I mean, it probably is Sheamus because they've had a few matches, but I think he's the best in the ring out of all four guys. So it was good to see Roman Reigns against someone different, at least from League of Nations. If they're going to have him against the League of Nations guy, at least it be someone different. That's pretty good. Plus, it all got started basically, that match, because Chris Jericho asked Roman Reigns who he pushed out the ring last year to win the Royal Rumble, and obviously Rusev was there, and that kind of made them, that you put two and two together. Rusev got annoyed and kind of put on the match itself. So after that though, we had Natalya versus Brie Bella, and Natalya had Paige come out as her like buddy at ringside, so that was pretty cool because I love Paige. But yeah, Natalya got the win over Brie Bella. It was a whatever match. It just lasted a few minutes. It wasn't anything special. But yeah, then we had the Wyatt family come out, and it was Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan against the Dudley Boys and Ryback. I mean, everyone knows what my opinion is on this now. They've had so many matches recently. It wasn't actually the worst one. It was all right. I didn't fall asleep watching it. I just can't get on board with Ryback. His ability is just not there in ring. It was an okay bit of a match. It wasn't again anything special. And I don't think they ever will make anything special, to be honest. In terms of a match, those guys. And I just think the Wyatt family should be going on to better things, which obviously I'll get to at the end of the show. But then we had Big Show against Heath Slater, who had obviously the Social Outcasts, which is a weird group, to be honest. They all seemed to be arguing at who had the mic and who wanted to talk. It was just so odd. But Big Show basically beats Heath Slater with the knockout punch and then knocks out all the others, the other three. So, and it seemed that Big Show was kind of like a face. He was interacting with the crowd and stuff, which was pretty cool, because obviously he's been a heel. I don't think Big Show's particularly got long left in WWE. I think maybe ride this year out, and then maybe give up. I think, but yeah, it was an alright win. But Big Show's obviously going into the Royal Rumble. We'll see where he enters, and about where we see who enters. Then they had Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon come out and do like a raffle thing for. Basically, they had the raffle and they had the balls inside, and Vince McMahon, Stephanie to roll it. She would twist the thing so it'd go round and round, and then Vince McMahon chose one of the balls and opened it up, and this was to decide the number one entrant. And obviously, everyone who has their head screwed on properly knew who it was going to be, and it was Roman Reigns. It has to be. I mean, if you're defending the belt, it's guaranteed your number one anyway, because you can't have two guys start off the match and then when Roman Reigns enters, he just runs down with the championship and just leaves it somewhere. He's obviously going to come in as first, so the ref can present the championship to the crowd and make it official that it's for the WWE Championship. So, but then they try again because Vince McMahon's playing it as if it's that wasn't legit, so they do it again, and obviously it ended up being Roman Reigns again because every ball in there had Roman Reigns' name on it. No two ways about it. Every ball had Roman Reigns' name. So they try it a third time. It's obviously Roman Reigns again. So Roman Reigns is going to enter the Royal Rumble number one. I was a bit disappointed we didn't get an announcement on number two because I like it when the first two are announced. After that, I don't want anyone announced, but first two was going to. Because obviously I wanted Brock Lesnar to be number two, but we'll see if that happens or not. Then we had Becky Lynch defeat Tamina in another Divas match. That was a lot better than the first match because just Becky Lynch has been on such a high last few weeks. I've really got on board with her. She's just been amazing. And obviously her segment, her promo afterwards was again great. She was so energetic, just really interacting with the crowd, and the crowd were loving it. So she won the match. Called out Charlotte for a Divas match at the Royal Rumble. She was like no, but then she started taking the frustration out on Ric Flair, calling him some names, calling him basically that his daughter's as fake as him and stuff like that, and just trying to get under their skin and get the match. So Ric Flair just announces the match for the Royal Rumble for the Divas Championship, and Charlotte is standing behind Ric Flair and she's like, what have you just done? Like, what are you doing? It was pretty funny actually. So that's official for the Royal Rumble now. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Love to see Becky Lynch get the championship, but because it would just make her really legit, I think until she wins it, people may just think that she might never win it. But when she does, I think then she'll really arrive as one of the top divas. So and with the the divas they've got there at the minute, like Becky Lynch, Sasha, Paige, some really good in-ring athletes compared to previous years. It could really make it interesting if they really tried. So hopefully they do, because I fall asleep with some of the WWE Superstars matches. I don't really want to have to with the divas as well. I don't want to be asleep for two hours out of 3 hours of the show. But yeah, that was that. Then we had a segment with the New Day backstage. Basically, Xavier Woods was crying about Francesca the trombone. They're brilliant. They are just amazing, those three guys. But then, so Big E comes out for a match with Jey Uso, I think it was Jey Uso. One-on-one, Jimmy at ringside, and obviously the other two guys from the New Day, Kofi and Xavier at ringside. Jimmy does a move outside the ring on Kofi, so they're both down near the end of the match, and that means because Jay had the upper hand at Big E at that point, so then Xavier Woods gets involved, helps out Big E, and Big E gets the win. 3 against 2. I was pretty sure Big E was going to win the match anyway, so it was a good win for the New Day, and obviously that's another title match at the Royal Rumble. The New Day defending against the Usos, so that'll be a good match, I think, because I do think they can put on a good match, those two stables, tag teams, whatever. So then we did have the biggest throwaway match of the. I mean, it was. I'm not going to say it was all right because every superstar had like 30 seconds in the ring. It was just a bit. It was Titus O'Neil, Mark Henry, R-Truth, and Neville versus Stardust, The Ascension, and Tyler Breeze. You know, they kind of had just new and past rivalries in the match. You know, that's how it got thrown together. You know, previous rivalries and maybe something that's going on in two superstars now. It was whatever. There was a big botch at one point as well in the match near the end where Titus O'Neil had Tyler Breeze and Mark Henry was standing behind him, and obviously he went to flick him over his head into Mark Henry's arms for the World's Strongest Slam, and it went over Mark Henry's head. So that was a bit of a fail. So Mark Henry had to pick him back up, hit the World's Strongest Slam, then Neville hit the red arrow on Tyler Breeze and picks up the win 1-2-3. So at that point I was just like, let's get this over and done with, and let's get that main event going, or the main bit of the show, which came about with Chris Jericho in the ring. And so as he's talking, Paul Heyman comes out without Brock Lesnar, just Paul Heyman. They have a really good promo, it was really interesting, both guys. And then Chris Jericho says, you know, well, what if it's me? What if it's me and Brock Lesnar? And what if I beat Brock Lesnar? In which Brock Lesnar's music hits and he comes out, the beast that he is, walks around the ring like a shark, like he always does. And as he's about to maybe enter the ring, he hasn't even finished his proper entrance yet, Roman Reigns comes out. Music hits, Roman comes steaming through the crowd, usually he's fist pump with the crowd and stuff. He was just like flying down those stairs, it was brilliant. And then enters the ring. So Brock Lesnar does the lap around the ring again and enters the ring this time. And as he gets through the first rope, Roman just comes straight away, bang, spear to Brock Lesnar. Spears Brock Lesnar, just amazing. And then he starts unloading with some punches. And that's where the League of Nations came out. So the League of Nations come out to try and, you know, basically beat up both guys. Sheamus starts hitting Roman Reigns, they start attacking Roman Reigns, but then Rusev goes over to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar hits Rusev with a suplex, hits Del Rio with a suplex, and then gets Sheamus up for the F5. So Brock Lesnar destroys the League of Nations. Again, Barrett wasn't there to be seen for some reason, but Brock Lesnar takes down the League of Nations, but as he turns around, boom, another spear by Roman Reigns. 2 spears to Brock Lesnar. Just incredible. It was just such a really good and well put together, you know, part in my opinion. So the second spear, to which the Wyatt family's music hits. And this is the bit I really wanted to get to, because the Wyatt family showed the League of Nations what a real stable is about and what real people can do. Wyatt family, the music hits, the lights come back on, and all 4 are surrounded the ring with Roman and Brock in the ring, with Brock's obviously laid out from 2 spears and Roman's standing. So he goes to hit Braun Strowman, then the rest of the guys come in, Luke Harper hits him with that boot and then the clothesline, in which Bray Wyatt picks up Roman Reigns' sister Abigail, and then they do the same. All 4 guys from the Wyatt family smash Brock Lesnar to the ground, and then Bray Wyatt picks up Brock Lesnar, sister Abigail to Brock Lesnar, and then to finish off the show you have Bray Wyatt and the rest of the Wyatt family just in the ring, kind of on, you know, basically over Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and Bray Wyatt saying that how it's going to be his day at the Royal Rumble. So Bray Wyatt is just growing on me, guys. It's just his ability of what he does is amazing, and obviously to set up that because maybe they might. That's where they might go with the because if Triple H returns and obviously that sets up Triple H versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, maybe they're heading in a direction of Brock Lesnar versus the Wyatt family. Could be something that could be done because obviously Bray Wyatt is really starting to build his momentum as a main eventer and as one of the guys. And obviously with Brock having a match with Brock Lesnar and having that feud with Brock Lesnar overcoming the whole Wyatt family because he's done everything else. So, and that is the biggest group to take down in years, the Wyatt family, because they're so dangerous basically. So if that would be a big thing for Brock Lesnar to maybe try and take down. So that's maybe somewhere they could go with that. But whether one of those two will win the championship and if that was a rivalry, be it for the championship, I'm not sure. I think outside of Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, or Triple H, if none of those three win, my fourth guy to win would be Bray Wyatt, and then obviously probably they make Brock Lesnar work for it by beating Wyatt family members and getting the match against Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. But I don't see it being for the belt because I think that'll be Roman Reigns and Triple H. So we'll see what happens. The Royal Rumble's this Sunday. I'll make my preview for that, guys. I'll have that up soon in the next few days. I'll preview every match, make my prediction, and I'll see who I think will win the Royal Rumble. And yeah, that was my Raw review, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the show as well. And yeah, bring on the Royal Rumble. So hope you guys enjoy, and see you soon.